Hello, this is Dennis with A1 Telephone Service and Repair, A1 Electronics. You can reach us on the web at www.a1-telephone.com, and you can also reach us at 618-235-6959. Today I want to show you a really cool Western Electric wooden wall telephone, and it's a 329, and this is Larry's telephone from Indiana. And so basically, most of the hardware, I believe, is inside this telephone. So right now we're missing our hook switch and our spit cup, and we want to go through the bells. This is going to be a conversion, and we may have to upgrade the receiver and the transmitter on the inside so that Larry can hold an everyday conversation with the clarity and audio that he needs. So we'll go ahead and go through everything, and this gives you a look at it. It's a very nice telephone. It has its schematic on the inside, which is really cool, and we'll do a still picture of that. We also want to go through a solenoid on his bells. We want to make sure that's working. We want to check everything that has come in with it. We have a 3-bar magneto, and most of the wiring looks like it's intact. So we'll kind of unpack this because we just started working on this telephone. This would be the crank handle. Of course, this is the receiver, and we want to open that up here real quick. We'll get a look at that. Okay, here's the receiver and the cloth cord that goes to it. And we'll probably have to upgrade this. Most of the time the quality is not good enough with these original receivers and transmitters to go ahead and use them in an everyday conversation. Sometimes you can get away with it, but most of the time you have to replace them. And so we want to make sure everything is here. Here's our hook switch. And then our spit cup would be in this. And here is our spit cup. We want to install a modular port so that Larry can simply walk up to this telephone and plug any length, any line cord he chooses into the telephone. And we are going to look over the magneto, go through that, make sure that that's ringing the bell. We have to create a circuit that will allow you to crank the crank and ring the original bell, but then we also want the bells to ring when a phone call comes in. So we have to create a circuit for that so that we don't backfeed any voltage into the telephone line. So there's going to be quite a bit of conversion that we need to do to this telephone so that you're able to use it in an everyday situation. So we're going to go ahead and take a short break. We'll get some more video of this as we move along in the repair and conversion of this telephone. Okay, we're back now, and I'm going to show a little bit about what's going on at the shop here. We've upgraded the receiver now, and so that has a newer style receiver capsule inside, and that's been taken care of. Also in the shop, I build little electronic transmitters, and they're much more higher quality than anything that you would get with, like, say, a T1. A lot of companies will upgrade with a T1, and they have granules in them that are graphite or carbon granules, and they're very noisy, so we don't use that type. I actually build these circuits and then install them, and so that kind of gives you a look at that circuit, and it has been upgraded, and we're going to set that there. And these microphones, you basically don't have to be right up on them to communicate and transmit. So we're going to go ahead and plug in the telephone to the analyzer, and I want to give you some dial tone. dial tone to go away. Now you can see that I'm talking and I'm at least 2.5 or so feet away from the telephone, the microphone here, and you can see that red light on the analyzer is lighting up. That's an indication of 100% modulation on transmit every time you see that light. So basically the telephone's actually acting like a speakerphone when it comes to the microphone in the transmitter section. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the microphone is very touchy, and I build them that way so customers will not have any kind of a problem with anyone that they're speaking with having any kind of a hard time hearing them. And so what we want to do here is I have a switch box here. And when I press this button, what's going to happen, it's going to totally take the analyzer out of the situation and give us a line out. And I'm going to call a time and temp number, and I'm going to let you listen to that. But you're going to hear the time and temp answer, and then you're going to hear a buzzing sound. And that's because they're having a problem with their system. It has nothing to do with what we're doing on our end. They just, every once in a while, when they're working on their system or there's a problem, you'll hear a hum, and then you'll hear the rest of the message that they give out on this time and temp number. We're going to use a tone dialer, and I'm going to go ahead and place it up to the microphone and dial out. And that's an indication also that how touchy the microphone is if you can use a tone dialer on it and dial a phone number out, then you know we're transmitting decently. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to switch over to our line out. I'm going to give you some dial tone. And then I'm going to go ahead and
good afternoon. Today is Wednesday, June 26th. The time is 3:16. Current temperature 97 degrees. Mostly clear tonight, lows in the mid-70s. Mostly sunny Thursday, a high in the low 90s.
Okay, and so what we want to do now is I want to go back over to the analyzer, but I'm going to unplug our line. So we know that this transmitter and receiver is working now, and you will get a higher quality transmit than you would anything like a T1 or an F1 transmitter. So these electronic circuits that I build for the transmitter are very sensitive. So anyway, what we're going to do is take a short break from the video, and I'm going to go ahead and start installing the spit cup. I'm going to put our transmitter back together again, and we want to start wiring some things that we are working on the inside of the telephone because we're on our way to finishing it up. We also went ahead, and I want to move the video up a little bit. We also went ahead and worked on the crank. And the bells. They were very loose. The bells had to be adjusted. We worked on the solenoid a little bit and went into the magneto and made sure that was cleaned up inside and oiled. So everything is turning freely now. When we first tried it, the magneto had a lot of resistance to it, and it didn't want to turn real well, and it was squeaking a lot. So we got that all squared away. And we'll give you some more video of this as we move along in the repair and the conversion of this telephone. So we'll be right back. Okay, we're back now, and we are finished up with the repair and conversion of this telephone. And so we're going to kind of run through a little bit of everything that went on with this telephone. We upgraded the receiver capsule, so that's been taken care of. And we also, earlier in the video, showed that we build a electronic transmitter with a microphone, and the clarity and audio that you'll get out of that is so much higher than anything that you would get with a T1 or an F1, and so that's why we build that circuit. And it almost is like a speakerphone. You don't have to be right up on this telephone to have your audio go out, your transmit. And so we went through the magneto and got that cleaned up and adjusted and oiled. And so we'll go ahead and ring the bell now. So That's working properly now. We can go ahead and ring the bell with the analyzer. We'll let it go one more time. And I'll stop the ring. We also created a circuit that when you crank the magneto and ring the bells, that you don't backfeed voltage into the telephone line. And so that's been taken care of. We also installed a modular port so that Larry can simply walk up to the back of this telephone and plug any line cord he wants in, any length, any color. And so that makes for a clean, easy connection. And so plug and play. So everything has been taken care of on the telephone now. We rewired it the way we wanted to rewire it so that it would work the way we needed it to work. And everything's been taken care of. So now what we want to do is go ahead and do some checks. And our final checks, we'll go ahead and ring the telephone. I'll let it go one more time. We'll answer it. I want to give you some dial tone. I want to click the switch, cause dial tone to go away. And when I transmit, you can see that red light on the analyzer, and that's an indication of 100% modulation. I'm at least 2.5 feet away from this telephone, and you can see the analyzer, and that's an indication of 100% modulation on transmit. So there won't be any issue with anybody being able to hear when you talk to them. What we want to do now is I want to go ahead and push this button on the switch box, and that gives us a line out and totally takes the analyzer away from the situation. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a tone generator, a tone dialer, to go ahead and dial a time and temp number. Now, like earlier in the video, you're going to hear a humming noise that comes from when we call the time and temperature number, and they're having a problem with their equipment. It has nothing to do with the telephone or the video. It's basically they're having problems with their telephone situation, their system when on their time and temp number. So we're going to go ahead and do that. I want to get the tone dialer ready. Give you some dial tone.
Good evening. Today is Thursday, June 27th. The time is 6:20. Current temperature 99 degrees. Partly cloudy tonight, 40% chance of a shower and a thunderstorm, lows around 70. Mostly sunny on Friday, a high in the upper 80s.
Now that we know that this telephone has been repaired and converted, we can return it to Larry and he can start enjoying his telephone. This is Dennis with A1 Telephone Service and Repair, A1 Electronics. You can reach us on the web at www.a1-telephone.com, and you can also reach us at 618-235-6959. Thank you for watching and have a great day.